Hi guys, Natasha Tessier here with Dwell Realty and Design. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the Woodlands versus Montgomery and which one is right for you. Hi there, I'm Natasha Tessier. I'm the owner of Dwell Realty and Design. We are a real estate firm here in the Houston area, specifically Northwest Houston. And we also have a design team, so we do both of those. I used to do interior design, was published in Southern Living, so I do design and I have a whole team for that, but we also focus mostly on real estate. So today I wanted to compare the Woodlands to Montgomery, the city of Montgomery. It is a little bit confusing here because the Woodlands is in Conroe Independent School District. Conroe is another city, which is obviously still in Conroe Independent School District. Montgomery is a city in Montgomery ISD or Independent School District, all kind of in a triangle if you look at the map, but Montgomery is also the county of all of those. So it's a little bit confusing, but today I thought I would do a comparison. I'm really gonna focus on the Woodlands versus Montgomery. And the reason is I live in Wood Forest right now. It's a huge master plan community out here in Montgomery. It is zoned mostly to Montgomery ISD, but part of it is on the Conroe side, so that can be confusing. A lot of people move from the Woodlands out here, and so I thought it'd be good to kind of go over the pros and cons of both areas and trying to figure out which one would be best for you and your family or you as a person or whatever. So if you haven't checked out Wood Forest, you need to. It's a great master plan community, decent tax rate for a new community, newer community. I think it's probably 10-ish years old. And oh my gosh, there's so many amenities. There's coffee shops and pizza shops. Everybody takes their golf cart up to the grocery store. There's a bourbon bar coming. There's a new bar and grill coming. There's a tacos to go. I mean, there's so much. It's kind of turning into like a mini Woodlands. And what I did was I went on our neighborhood Facebook page here in Wood Forest and I asked people, if you moved here from the Woodlands, tell me, the pros and cons. Some people like it better, some people don't. So here we go. So the first thing, I'm just gonna kind of go through a rundown and then I thought I would read some of their notes or comments to you. So we're gonna talk about amenities versus a small town feel. So the Woodlands has way more amenities. So if you live right in the Woodlands in one of the villages right there, you're right next to all the shopping. Market Street is an outdoor mall there, the main mall, the Woodlands Mall. You have concerts all the time on the lawn. You have the Woodlands Mitchell Pavilion Amphitheater is right there. I mean, there's so many things right there in the Woodlands that your amenities and your 5-star dining is all right there. Out in Montgomery, it's not quite the same. It's more land, more space, and not as many amenities. There are some dining areas and local eateries like Hodgepodge Lodge. The Cozy Grape is a really good one. There's other places, but it's not your 5-star high-end stuff that the Woodlands offers. Restaurant Row in the Woodlands on the water is beautiful. I mean, there's definitely more amenities versus like a small town feel. Old homes versus newer homes. So the Woodlands, it's virtually impossible to find new construction. All those homes were built 80s, 90s, early 2000 time frame. Now, Creekside is south of the Woodlands. It's still considered part of the Woodlands, but it's zoned to Tomball, not to the Woodlands High School or to College Park. But it is still part of the Woodlands, and that is the newer section. And then also Sterling Ridge is a little bit newer. But out in Montgomery, you have new construction still going on and you have newer communities, newer houses. So that's one thing that a lot of people comment on. You gotta kind of get more bang for your buck out here with newer construction. The houses aren't quite as run down. So there are older homes out here. There's 2 acreage neighborhoods that are really popular, Crown Oaks and Grand Lake Estates. They are like 1 to, I would say, 5 acre lots. Some are bigger, but most of them are, 2 to 4 acres. And those neighborhoods are older, but they still have new construction. There are very few lots left in those 2 neighborhoods. They are zoned to the highest rated schools out here. I actually have a lot I'm getting ready to sell out there. It's 2 acres right across from the water, but there's just not a lot left in those. I would say in Crown Oaks, there's less than 5 and they're not for sale. They're people usually who have bought the lot on either side of them and want to keep that space. And the same with Grand Lakes. There's a few, but it's dwindling down on those 2 acreage neighborhoods. And then I mentioned you can get more land versus a neighborhood. So in the Woodlands, you're packed in. Out here, you do have options. Now, Wood Forest, you're packed in. It's more of a master plan community with houses are pretty close. We have half an acre here, but that's probably not the norm. I would say 8,000 square foot lots to 15,000 is more the norm. So you're kind of packed in. You have neighbors on either side of you, neighbors in your back, unless you back up to, a wooded space or something. But out where Grand Lake and Crown Oaks are, you have space, you have land. Montgomery Trace is another neighborhood. There's lots of acreage neighborhoods out here. In the Woodlands, you don't have that. There's really no acreage neighborhoods. I did just put a home under contract in the Woodlands and it's 17,000 square foot lot. That's very rare too, You do have some 10 or 12,000 square foot, but a lot of them are really jam-packed in there to like a tight knit. And that's how you have accessibility to a lot of the amenities. So just a different way of living. Then we'll talk about school districts too. So Conroe ISD, most of those schools, especially in the Woodlands, are rated very, very well. Almost all the elementaries are A or B. Same with Montgomery. So the south side of 105 is mostly the newer schools, which is Lake Creek High School. There's a couple elementary schools, and then Oak Hills Junior High, all A rated, very, very high. And then Montgomery High School in the north side is also rated A's and B's. But the Woodlands is a lot bigger school district. So I don't know, there's probably somewhere between 11 and 13 high schools in that district. And the Woodlands High School is so big that there's a freshman campus that has somewhere between 1,000 to 1,200 students just on the freshman campus. Out at Lake Creek, we have like 1,700 total in the school. So I don't know, for me, I wanted my kids to kind of be in a little bit smaller. I mean, they'll probably graduate with, 400-ish in their class. If you were at the Woodlands High School, you're gonna graduate with, 1,200 in your class. So that's a big difference if that's important to you or not. The Woodlands offers more. So I have a client that wanted her son to learn Japanese, and the Woodlands was the only high school we could find it at. So there's gonna obviously be more to offer at the bigger school. Sports-wise, they're both big. They are in 2 different levels. So Woodlands is 6A, and right now Montgomery is small 5A. So if sports are important to you, I have 3 kids, they all play sports. I'm happy to talk to you about sports and anything you need to know, but those are kind of the differences in the 2 schools. Okay, so let me go through some of the notes I just asked this morning. The first person said neighbors are better out here. And one person said that nobody would ever ask this question. So I don't know if they feel like it's a little bit friendlier out here than the Woodlands. I've never lived in the Woodlands. I've only lived in Tomball. Obviously Houston is where I was born and raised. Tomball, Pinehurst, and now Montgomery. So I can't answer that. One said, I love the small town feel. The cons are not as much convenience and it's much less diverse. So the Woodlands is definitely more diverse. They say less traffic out here. The Woodlands during rush hour can be crazy because it's a lot of people packed into a space. During the day, I don't really notice much traffic in the Woodlands, but in the rush hour times, let me add to that. Right at 1488 and 2978, where it says Egypt on the map, that light during rush hour is insane out here. So it's less traffic like out in Montgomery in general, but that area has a ton of traffic, so keep that in mind. Okay, so there's better Wi-Fi and cell service in the Woodlands. Utilities are cheaper. People think the Woodlands is more convenient overall, but if you want newer, less expensive homes, Wood Forest has more appeal. Most homes in the Woodlands need to be remodeled as well. In my opinion, the Wi-Fi and cell service is a huge issue in Wood Forest, and lots of realtors and home buyers are aware of it. So that's one thing to think about right now. Our Wi-Fi, so we pay for really nice Wi-Fi in our house, but around the neighborhood, the Wi-Fi is terrible. They have been telling us they're getting a tower, but in Wood Forest, like when you're driving around, it's terrible. It doesn't matter what server you're with, they need a tower out here. They are gonna get it because there's 9,700 people living in Wood Forest now, so they're gonna get it, but it is a nuisance, the Wi-Fi. But if you work from home, we have fiber with Mid-South and it's not an issue at all. If it goes out, it is, but it's only happened once. So it's not really an issue once you're in the house, but if you are driving around, you might want to pay for Wi-Fi in your car, or I don't know. And that's just a Wood Forest thing. So like when we're in Crown Oaks we're building in Crown Oaks. So when we're over there, we don't notice a Wi-Fi issue. I don't know what the deal is with Wood Forest. Okay, the Woodlands doesn't have a mud tax, but they do have an additional tax. Okay, then they're kind of going back and forth on this whole mud tax thing. The rate here in Wood Forest, I believe, is 2.79 or 2.8, and the rate in most of the Woodlands is 2.2 to 2.4. A little bit of a difference. There is a mud tax and a mud fee out here. That's our municipal utility district. So that is something to be aware of. Somebody said the school district split is frustrating. I wouldn't want to send my kids to the Conroe schools after Stewart, like many people in Wood Forest. So Stewart is the elementary on the Conroe side. Such a shame nobody can fix this. Adding another elementary doesn't do anything. So they are adding a brand new elementary for the Conroe. So Wood Forest is split. Half of it's Conroe ISD, half of it's Montgomery ISD. The elementaries are very comparable. When it gets to the junior high and high school, the Montgomery side is rated a lot better. So the homes are a little more expensive because people want to be in that school district. They do have an open enrollment, but they can close it at any time. So I wouldn't buy on the Conroe side thinking that you're gonna be able to open enroll. Conroe ISD is one of the best districts. I'm sure people have negative experience in every district. These are just people going back and forth, good Facebook arguments. But point being, you need to just go do the research for yourself. Go into HAR, click on a home on the Conroe side in Wood Forest, click on a home on the Montgomery side in Wood Forest, and then look at the ratings of the school. Look how the kids are scoring, look at all that stuff. It'll tell you, it's not hard to figure out. Okay, we lived in the Woodlands for 15 years and love all the shopping and dining, but we love to come home to Wood Forest, would do it all over again. Ditto, ditto, people are replying. The utilities are less in the Woodlands. My water is double in Wood Forest, which is interesting because I don't feel like my water bill is very high at all. Do like living out of town, but thinking of moving back out of Wood Forest. Been here 3 years. I think the Woodlands is better. 15 years in the Woodlands, better shops, but there seems to be some moving on up going on in Wood Forest, so there's that. So she's saying moving on up because every day they're breaking ground up there, and we started with a small grocery store, a sushi place, 2 coffee shops, a pizza place. Now, oh my gosh, it just keeps going. We have this bourbon bar, tacos, a boutique, a Wister's Bar and Grill. I mean, it just is gonna keep, there's so much development out here, so that'll change over time and it gets better every time. Quieter, I love it. And there's still a lot of traffic up in 1488. That's the light I was talking about. Driving around Wood Forest is so nice with no traffic. Phone service stinks out here. It used to be convenience in the Woodlands. However, everything the past 3 to 5 years has changed drastically out in Wood Forest. More commercial development, new HEB off 1488, more traffic lights. Used to only be 6 to hit 45, now it's like 15. Okay, this person's like very long-winded. He says that the HOA are trash can Nazis. I guess if you don't put your trash can away, they get mad at you. I really wanted to live in in the Woodlands, but then we found Wood Forest and we love how quiet and safe it felt. You can see much more wildlife, which is true. There's a ton of deer and stuff out here that you're not gonna find in the Woodlands. One thing we don't like is the proximity to shopping and dining. Our commute is quite a bit of time. I'm really excited about the upcoming shopping area. Would never move back to the Woodlands. Houses are old and overpriced. I don't want shops near me, and the Woodlands is overcrowded and the HOA is just as restrictive as here. This person loved Creekside is great, lower price utilities and great cell phone service, also convenient to shopping. That is in Harris County, just so you know. Creekside, if you're trying to do Montgomery County, Creekside is in Harris County. So I have clients that don't like that they're in Harris County there. Quiet, less traffic. The Woodlands is not what it used to be. We lived in the Woodlands for 35 years, loved it, great place to raise a family. Wood Forest is like a new mini Woodlands. We didn't have to remodel anything or, there's a lot of newer homes. The home we bought here is a 2017, the one that I'm in now. We're actually gonna be listing that this summer once our build is further along. If you know anyone, it's a 1/2 acre, 4,400 square feet. It's a beautiful home. We wanted to move to the Woodlands. Houses were much older, newer houses in Wood Forest, better pricing, and you're only a few minutes away. and lots of places popping up out here. Lived in the Woodlands for 9 years. It's actually a city, not a community. Wood Forest has less traffic, fewer entitled drivers, friendly, thoughtful neighbors, more wildlife, and nature aesthetics. We love our Wood Forest community. Lived in the Woodlands for 11 years. Montgomery ISD schools are way better. There is no comparison. So anyway, I could keep going on and on, but I just wanted you guys to hear from people that have lived in both places. There's pros and cons to both, like anything. So if you're considering either one, let me know, reach out. I'm always happy to help. You can reach me on Instagram, Houston Realtor Natasha, also on TikTok. You can reach me, Natasha Tessier, on Facebook, or natashatessier@gmail.com. My cell phone's listed below. Reach out. We'd love to help you, set you up a search, see when you're coming in town and how we can be of service. Hope this video is helpful. If you have another one, let me know, and I hope you have a blessed day.